Hi. I know, extremely strange seeing me in front of the camera. I've been behind it for about 15 years now. Very reluctant to come in front of it, but my good wife here, who's standing right behind the camera now, persuaded me quite compellingly to appear and share some of the things that I have to say that I may have observed, I may have learned, and I may want to share. So the idea is going to be to pick out some of my favorite pictures or pictures which have been much loved by viewers over the years, and share the stories behind them, what happened before taking the picture, what perhaps happened after taking the picture, a little bit about that particular animal featured in the picture, particularly if it's a tiger, because I've been following individual tigers for some time now. And of course, equipment and technical details will be a part of our discussion because I'm sure that many of you are interested in that. But the focus is going to be on sharing some of the stories behind them. For the first episode, I thought what better picture to start with than this, which features a tigress crouching on a rock. Now, the first thing that people ask me when they see this picture is, was the tiger about to attack me? And no, absolutely not. I'd like to assure you, spoiler alert, that she really wasn't about to do any such thing. In fact, this conception that tigers are out to get you in the wild is a very common misconception that most newbie tourists and people who don't really know much about natural history and the wild have. And also the people who visit national parks a few times might tend to sensationalize the danger to which they expose themselves in taking a picture. But all of this is really untrue and goes on to just demonize animals. So firstly, here the tigress is not at all interested in me. She's just sitting on the rock because she wanted to. And so she wasn't about to attack me at all. The second thing I would like to clarify is that this picture was very much taken in the wild in a place called Bandhavgarh in Madhya Pradesh, which is very famous for tiger viewing and tiger photography. It's my absolute favorite place on earth when it comes to tigers particularly. And the place has been very kind to me. I've been visiting it for about 15 years now. I've had the opportunity and the good fortune to follow many of the individual tigers. And one of them is a tigress who's very close to my heart, one of my favorites, called the Banbei female, featured in this picture. Not the original Banbei female, who unfortunately passed away in 2009, but her daughter from her last litter. So what's very special about this tigress is that she was orphaned when she was just 10 months old. Like I mentioned, her mother died in 2009. She was just 10 months old at that time. And for a tigress to actually survive from that age, to manage to hunt, to manage to keep herself safe, is truly extraordinary. And that is what makes her a hero, in my view. The other reason she's very special is because I think she introduced the world to a few aspects of tiger biology that we may not really be aware of. For instance, we always assumed that friendship, a concept called friendship, is unique to humans, or perhaps at best to certain human-like mammals such as apes. And we always discount the possibility of any such thing being found in tigers. But that in fact is exactly what I think happened here with the Banbei female, with a male called Kalua, also known fondly as Kallu. So Kalua was so named because he had very dark stripes, and that's derived from the word Kala in Hindi, which is black or dark. Kalua was her nephew, her mother's daughter's son, from another litter, of course. And he was a very good looking tiger. Not that it matters to a tigress perhaps, but to tourists it certainly did, because Kalua was the heartthrob of tourists, extremely popular, good looking fellow. And he formed this association with the Banbei female, where without mating, evidently, he used to spend a lot of time with her. So this went on for about 6 to 8 months, where they used to be seen frequently hanging out together and spending a lot of time. They used to sit on the road a little distance away and so on, which was something completely novel really in the modern consciousness of tiger behavior. So inevitably though, when a tiger and a tigress spend so much time together, perhaps the issue or the question of mating has to arise, and therefore it did. So one fine week in the May of 2010, when this picture was taken, they started mating. So everybody was very excited, and Kallu went missing a few days before that, in the sense that he wasn't seen to tourists anymore, which was very unusual by his standards. And a couple of days later, we realized that he was actually mating with a Bombay female. So on this particular morning, again, they were mating on a small hillock in a place called Bhitri. If you're familiar with Bandhavgarh, I'm sure you would be familiar with Bhitri. So there's a watchtower there on a hill, and just next to the watchtower, there's a meadow in which there is a perennial pond, which has water even in the summer, or at least used to. So a little late in the morning, after they had been together for a bit, I suspect that Kallu started feeling the heat a bit, both from the activity in which he was engaged as well as from the searing temperatures of the Bandhavgarh summer, which can reach 48 or 49 degrees Celsius, and I can assure you that that was a very hot year, particularly 2010. Naturally, he felt inclined to hydrate himself or perhaps even take a dip. Tigers famously love water. They don't mind getting their bodies wet. In fact, they love it as long as they don't have any water in their eyes, that is. They love sitting in the water in the summer to cool themselves. So that is what he wanted to do in order to take a break. And therefore, both Kallu and the Bombay female started moving towards the road, which cuts right across that hill and divides the watchtower side from the hillside. But there was one small problem, which is when they reached the road which they had to cross in order to get to the pond, the Bombay female simply refused to follow. She just wouldn't go to the pond. Instead of crossing the road, she just sat down right at the edge of it on a rock at absolute eye level, and I couldn't believe my luck. Trust me, this is not down to any skill. If someone tries to make you believe that the majority of wildlife photographs are caused by the photographer, I think that would be untrue, particularly in national parks where your movement is restricted. You cannot get off the vehicle, you have to stay put where you are mostly, and there are other vehicles, and therefore you cannot always position yourself exactly where you want to. So you're pretty much at the mercy of the animal, and I certainly was here. But to my immense fortune, she sat down exactly at eye level to me, from where I was standing in the vehicle on the road. And just this picture happened. So equipment wise, I shot it wide open at f4, an aperture of f4, in order to blur the background as much as possible. And there was a nice color palette in the picture because the foliage, the green of the foliage, complemented the orange of the tiger pretty nicely, I thought. And the light was fairly benign, perhaps, if I can use that word. Even though it was late in the morning, this was in a nice shady place, perhaps, which is why both Kallu and the Bombay female favored that patch of forest, because it was nice and shady and cool, relatively speaking, that is. And so there were no harsh shadows under the eyes, there were no unsightly dark areas, and everything was nice and pleasant. In terms of equipment, I used a D300 DSLR for this, Nikon D300 with a 300mm f4 lens, and nothing fancy there, as you can see. A pretty simple lens. It didn't even have image stabilization, didn't need it really, because a lot of people tend to think that you cannot take a steady picture without stabilization. That's absolutely untrue. It completely depends on your shutter speed. A 300mm lens was just the right focal length because I was standing across the road from the tiger on the other side, and everything was just perfect. So that's it. That is the story about this picture. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. Leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. And I'll be back soon with the next video. Until then, thank you very much for watching. See you.